and thank you for this wonderful opportunity to present some new work. I would like to talk for a second about where we are today, Sunday, May 30th. I'm sure everybody here in this Zoom webinar, whether you are a performer or a collaborator or an audience member, we're all very aware of the dark, tragic time that we're experiencing, and of the Black deaths and murders that have occurred, in addition to a very troubling pandemic. And I'm going to say something that I actually have only mentioned to one other person, and that is to my wonderful colleague, the managing director of Dance Heginbotham, Andrea Lodico. And that was that I voiced to her a concern that I wondered if maybe it was a good idea to postpone this performance and not participate in this way during a time when so many of us our minds and hearts are not necessarily on watching a dance company. And after a lot of thought, I came to a decision that I feel confident about, which is that because we are in this time of pain and fear and danger and inhumanity, that it would be perhaps a wonderful thing to offer an expression of great humanity. And what I will say is that all of the people you're going to see tonight are beautiful friends and beautiful colleagues and beautiful artists. And they represent truly the best of humanity. And I feel passionate that their work be able to live here tonight and to offer us an example of something that has the intention of beauty and grace and humanity. So with that in mind, I would like to please to start our show. And we're going to start with a video that I have made in collaboration with Maile Okamura, as well as our company of dancers, in this case, Lindsay Jones, who also assisted me with the choreography on this. We can talk more about that later. And the fabulous, fabulous Colin Jacobsen. So this is Paganini, Paganini Caprice #1. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, dear friend Isaac.
Hello, dear friend John. What a great piece that was. It was a relief, my dear. It was a real, a beautiful diversion from things that are going on in the world.
Thank you so
And
much.
really, really beautiful. I love the music and I love Lindsay and I love Jump Rope. Tell me about this particular piece. Tell me what the process was about making this piece.
Thank you, absolutely. But first, I do have a question for you. You love jump rope?
I mean, I loved watching Lindsay jump rope. I
Okay,
personally
okay.
cannot jump rope, but
Vicarious,
she
okay.
does anything, darling. She could do anything, and it's quite beautiful. Yeah, that's true.
Well, thank you. So Isaac, what I will say is when Works in Process and Caroline Cronson and Duke Dang offered this opportunity, right, to create something, a virtual commission,
Mhm.
I hadn't really been making a lot of work for Dance Heginbotham. I hadn't had the impulse to start making something while sort of in quarantine. But then that opportunity, that assignment was attractive and really compelling to me. And I thought, well, what the hell am I going to do? And I thought, you know what, everything that I'm seeing today is very, very tiny, tiny, tiny short things, which is appropriate. I mean, a lot of this material is appearing online and on social media where it's intended to be short. And obviously the piece you just saw is also very short, it's under 2 minutes, but it's part of a huge piece, which is, this piece, 24 Caprices by Niccolò Paganini. And I thought how interesting it might be during this time to actually take on a large scale project. And so I'm going to choreograph or direct all 24 of the Caprices. We have 2 in the can right now, the one you just saw, and then at the end of the evening, we'll see the second one that we've made. And what occurred to me about this one is that I knew that Lindsay had joined a jump rope club, which is now also, I think, an organization that is quite important to her. And she worked with me on, believe me, I also am a lover of jump rope, but from a distance, okay? And I really looked to her to sort of help me kind of figure out choreographically what might be possible. And so she and I combined forces and she showed me moves that could happen. And then I organized those moves in a particular structure and order to go with this beautiful piece of music. And I wonder actually, Isaac, if it would be okay to invite Lindsay.
Oh my gosh, I was just about to say that. Shall we ask Lindsay? Hey, Lindsay,
Please.
are you there?
Hi guys.
Hi, Lindsay.
You look cute. You look really cute.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So Lindsay, tell us a little something about, first of all, you have a nose piercing, I noticed. That's quite new.
Yes, I do.
Is that a COVID thing? Like, did you do that as part of this or did that come before?
Not at all.
So
This was in Australia. This happened on tour.
So it was just jump rope that was fresh from the COVID thing, or had you been doing that before?
I did start jump roping a little bit in February. I was doing some work and I wanted to work on my stamina and cross train, and jump roping just seemed like this very like on the go, affordable way to do cardio stamina work. And then, the lockdown happened, going from being used to dancing all day, every day to being at home. I mean, for my whole life, I've danced all day, every day. So the jump roping, is a way to get the energy out.
Mm-hmm.
And turned actually to be like a very beautiful, I don't know, like new form of expression, kind of without any expectation or judgment, like just fun. So I did a lot as a kid, brought it back.
I see. Can I just take a moment to mention to the audience watching, in case you have lags or you have audio problems or visual problems, please bear with us, A, and B, there's going to be this wonderful link a little bit later to the program, which should probably be sweetened, etc. So if there's any problem now, you'll be able to see and catch up later. All right, I thought I would mention that.
You know, we live in this time of Zoom webinars, and there are often these glitches and lags. And you know what? I would just invite all of us to be kind of forgiving of that. And we know where we are, and we're going to catch what we can.
I just thought I would mention it. Now, John, I wanted to ask you about the Paganini music, because like Lindsay started jumping rope just before the whole lockdown thing, like in February.
Yeah.
When did the Paganini, when did the thing sort of address itself to you? When did you kind of discover it?
So I love this question. And I'm also going to say, Lindsay, great, thank you.
What?
You're welcome to hang out, but if you wanted to go backstage, you could, Lindsay.
Right.
So Isaac, here's what happened. During early days of lockdown, I watched Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical, Song and Dance. Mm-hmm. And this is a musical which one act is entirely sung and one act is entirely danced, okay? And he wrote the music for the dancing part. He essentially created a story ballet, but he based it around Caprice number 24. And also recently, a student had played a piano version of some of these compositions of the 24th Caprice. And I just was finding it was like recurring in my life occasionally. And I was also finding that I love that melody. I find it really energizing. And so it occurred to me when I was trying to think about what I was going to do for this commission, I thought, well, that Caprice keeps on calling. What if I look into that? And then when I realized that, I mean, I knew it was one of many Caprices, but I didn't know that, you know, the entire 24 Caprices, that's like an hour and a half long. Yes. And I thought, okay, now I love it because this is something that I can really dig into over a period of time. And knowing that it's also kind of a virtuosic task for a violinist, the idea that we are working together to create, to climb this Mount Everest of solo violin seems attractive to me and ambitious in a nice way.
So now we're going to see a tape that you made at Jacob's Pillow. When?
Yes, so this was Dance Heginbotham has been working on a commission for Jacob's Pillow Dance Festival. Was meant to premiere this summer. Of course, that will not happen. You know, we're postponing the date of that premiere, and more information on that when we know more stuff. But it is a commission by for my company and Ethan Iverson, who is a regular collaborator with me and who had proposed an idea for a piece of music that he thought would be perfect for my company. So we started working on that. And the reason that I requested that we show this as part of the works in process is because I just wanted to put into context for everybody. This is what Dance Heginbotham was doing literally days before we all went home. Right. And so this is a video which was recorded, a rehearsal video recorded at Ballet Tech, which is Elliot Feld's school and space. And it's just a little teeny tiny excerpt of the first movement of this piece, Dance Sonata, which Ethan wrote. And there was something also important to say about this, which is that every time I'm making up a piece, and I'm sure I'm not alone in feeling this, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's really challenging. Sometimes things are complicated. Sometimes things are just like butter. This process, I think I can probably say is maybe the easiest process I've ever entered into. We were creating material like gangbusters fast. And
is that because the music was very motivating to you particularly, and maybe?
It was because the music was motivating. It was also because we sort of hadn't been together as a company for a while. We'd had a little hiatus. And I kind of feel like, at least from my perspective, I know I was so happy to see everybody. And I feel like we were just all really happy to be dancing together. And so the energy of the room was very, it was really joyful. And we were working hard, but we were laughing all the time. And it was a very satisfying process. So I just wanted to give everybody sort of an example, a sense of literally where we were in preparation for this summer premiere, like the second week of March, I think, first week of March, I can't remember exactly, but yeah. So this is a little excerpt from Dance Sonata.
Why don't we take a look at this?
Thanks.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
John.
So,
listen, so I think we should talk about the thing we're going to see next, right?
Sure, yeah.
Which is, it's a rehearsal, let's say, right?
Yes.
Paganini, the second Paganini piece that you're going to do, and the final piece we're going to see, right?
Yeah, well, so the rehearsal, we're not just going to see it, we're going to experience it, because it's going to actually happen. Like, so works in process. One of the things that's possible here is that sometimes we do things that are incomplete and, allow people to experience a little bit of what goes into creating, a new work. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to rehearse a Paganini Caprice that we have not yet made a video for. And in fact, my initial—
Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's like brand new.
Mm-hmm.
And my initial idea was we wouldn't even touch this piece before this event tonight. In fact, we had a dress rehearsal, and then we did, like, I'll just tell everybody we did start working on this piece a little bit.
Well,
so,
I wonder if we should bring Colin out to talk for a minute. Do you think we should do that first?
That would be excellent.
Only because, I mean, as far as like I was concerned watching that Dance Sonata thing, yeah. I wonder who was playing the piano. Was that Ethan?
Yes, that's Ethan.
That was Ethan, yeah. And for me, that was running the show. The music was running the show there. So I'm imagining that Colin is now going to run this rehearsal. So can we bring him on, Colin?
He is here in all his beauty and
Hello,
good
John
shirt, Colin.
Isaac.
Hi.
Hello.
This is my kitchen.
Colin Jacobsen. It's a nice kitchen.
Thank you.
And you have that sophisticated sort of audio equipment there.
That's thanks to housemate Sky Steele sitting
Hi, Sky.
right here.
I will also say, Isaac, Colin lives with a bunch of genius artists. His brother Eric, Eric's wife Aoife O'Donovan, Maile Okamura, you know, there are like many beautiful artists who live in this brownstone. And so they are able to create a lot of work together that is different than the work who those of us who are really isolated, you know, can do. And I'm saying this to bring up, Colin, you basically do a show like every 5 minutes, right?
Well,
and you have great
no, I
equipment
will
to
say,
support it.
as you just said, I am lucky to live in this household of musicians and dancers, and particularly my brother Ethan and I have been able to keep making music together during this time. And so, you know, Miley and I have a 4-year-old daughter, Mimi, and Eric and Aoife have a 2-year-old, and they get to hang out a lot. But 9 o'clock at night, they're presumably asleep, and then like Eric and Aoife's apartment turns into a recording studio many nights a week. So yeah, and we as a classical musician, I'm not as used to doing this home studio situation. It really happens, you know, in a rehearsal room with other people, maybe more like the way you build dance. So I'm not used to this, and I'm lucky tonight, yeah, from my friend Sky's help with gear. But anyway, yeah, as you said, it's good to have things that keep things moving forward in some way, whether it's jumping rope or learning a Paganini caprice.
Well, I have a question for you, Colin. The Paganini Caprice to any violinist is like this kind of giant, you know, thing that is out there to be conquered. Is this the first you've looked at it, or had you kind of fiddled with it before? No pun intended. Had you fiddled with it? Get it?
I would say in my life there have been 3 waves of Paganini. One is like as a teenager, you know, like they are the pinnacle of the etudes that I progressively had been learning up until that point, and you end up having to do them, you know, for like entrance exams to Juilliard, for instance. So at that point, they are kind of athletic things that I feel like I treated too much like etudes, like something you have to conquer to deliver, you know. Then years later, I got to play a bunch of them for this amazing violinist named Ruggero Ricci, who spent his life playing them. And the greatest thing I learned from him was just his joy at playing them and making them seem like they could be easy. They're still definitely not for me, but instead of them being an athletic thing to slam dunk, that they were actually the invention of Paganini is the beautiful thing about it. And actually, to me, they for that reason, because they're so crazy, the invention on the violin, they feel very modernist to me at this point. And I love the way in that first caprice, the physicality of the bow moving across the strings back and forth very much mirrors what Lindsay is doing. So that just feels aesthetically good to me right now.
You know, and what I've seen that John has brought out of these caprices, the 2 that I've seen, because this is a rehearsal that's about to come up that no one's seen, it's a world premiere, but you know, when you speak about it as something almost athletic or an etude, I tend to agree with that a lot. To me, they're incredibly beautiful, and part of the beauty of them is the horror of, you know what I mean? It's like they're horrible too, you know, and something that John has not brought out the horrible stuff in them yet. I'm imagining that, like, if you try to approach all 24, there will be moments where you will be like sort of, and I wonder, when you do this collaboration, do you think that Colin will perform all 24 in a row? Because that's an incredible feat in itself.
I mean, Colin,
think,
if you don't mind, so, you know, this is an ongoing conversation, but my intention is that yes, it would be Colin for the entire 24. And there's something to me, what I love about that is I like that we're going through this entire adventure together all the way to the end. And the idea of that is very attractive to me.
And I will say that as you said, Isaac, that would be like a marathon situation that I would have to build up to. And I have friends who've done this, and I always admired them from afar. But it does feel, as I was saying during this time, it's like something I can do at home, and there's a meditative aspect to trying to get to that place physically and mentally. That would be a nice challenge, a challenge worth doing. So.
And
We'll
yet,
see.
like, you know, like when you speak about the caprices and them being played, usually it's some virtuoso violinist on stage and they're doing that and they're not following dancers. I'm not exactly sure, because there you were like Fiddler on the Roof in the park, sort of, I don't know if you were following Lindsay or if she was just jumping rope to a click track or something. I'm not exactly sure how you filmed that, but like, so you get what I'm saying, like working with dancers as a musician. What's that, do you think that's gonna add to the
Yeah,
angst?
well, I mean, I think, well, the process for that one was very much like music video style. I recorded it, and then we had a boombox that we purchased in order to go out there because no one has a boombox anymore, and we brought it out there, and then Lindsay was dancing to it. I was too far away to hear it, so I was following what I understood of the choreography of hers. And yeah, I think like that would be an if we are closely tied metrically, and I imagine, knowing John, some of them will be and some will not, though I don't want to put words in your mouth, that will be an extra challenge because it will put me in a certain zone where I have to be aware of more than the act here, which is already a tightrope act. So I'll enjoy that challenge too.
Thank you.
One of the questions that I had for John earlier was about speaking of the whole technique of Zoom, the lag that occurs. And you know, there's a rehearsal and you have a musician and you have a bunch of dancers. How many dancers, can you tell us?
So right now we have 9 dancers.
9 dancers.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you wanted to maybe address that a little bit.
Oh, yes. Well, I think throughout the course of the whole 24, some of these pieces will be our full company. Some of them will be solos, some of them duets, trios. Tonight for this rehearsal, which I actually feel like we should get into because it's 8:14.
Yeah, yes, I know. Okay, let's just get into it. I was asking about the lag thing, but it'll be a lag, that's all.
There will be, well, yes, but I will say that this particular caprice that we're about to focus on, the structure of it, the lag is welcome. The lag is welcome in what we're about.
Wow. What lags welcome, darlings. Lags welcome. Should we look at it? Let's look at this. I'll disappear. I'll disappear.
See you in a second, Isaac.
Okay.
So could I please have all of the dancers enter the room?
4, 5, or maybe it doesn't matter.
And this one is with no virtual backdrop. Yeah, thank you so much. Great. Cool, thank you. Yes, we're all here, wonderful. So listen, so what I'd like to do for this experiment is that we are gonna start actually working on Caprice number 24. So you saw everybody joining us in the audience, we saw Caprice number 1 to start off the show. Now, looking forward for this rehearsal of a brand new Caprice, we're just gonna go all the way to the end, Caprice number 24, which is also the Caprice that had been worming its way into my head over several different experiences. So with that in mind, Colin, could you please play just the aria? Thank you so much. Beautiful. So dancers, what I'm going to ask you to do, and I will vanish from the room in just a moment, is I'm going to ask if you can please listen to the aria, and we're going to approach the first half of this caprice. So this caprice is a theme and variations. We hear the aria, and then we are going to listen to 5 variations after the aria. So dancers, you recall your instructions from our dress rehearsal. 2 Dance Heginbotham phrases, you show a vulnerable part, twisting, untwisting, and copying, yes? And you're gonna do 5 of the 6. I don't know which you're gonna choose, you will decide upon that. And you will stand and listen for the aria itself. Cool? Great, thank you. And I'm gonna disappear from the room. And then Colin, once I have vanished and once the dancers are all in place, actually maybe dancers, if you could get into place for a moment. I'm gonna say, when I leave the room, if we can all attempt to take a collective breath together, and then Colin, please feel free to start. Hey, listen, you all, like, I kind of loved that. Thank you. And Victor, nice with the copying of Colin. Hadn't occurred to me. That's very nice. Okay, well, listen, so dancers, moving along, I'd like to try another experiment here. This time around, I'm going to ask you, I know that you have a virtual background that has been designed and created by Lindsay Jones. And what I'm going to ask is that, could you actually all leave the room right now and get that set up? Great, thank you. And while you're getting that set up, I'll just talk for a second. So Colin, we are going to try actually that same exact thing, just only the first 6, the theme, and then 5 variations. And dancers, your instructions are identical, except for one thing. This time around, I'd like for you to please start action right at the top, right during the aria. And then for the 6th event, in other words, the 5th variation, the final thing that we're going to hear, for that one, that is the one that I would like for you to collectively please stand still. And you know what, because I can't see you and because I'm going to have to leave the room in order to get the grid set up in the appropriate way. If you make a mistake with this, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's in a nobody's watching. We're in a rehearsal. Okay, I'm gonna leave the room and then you're gonna set up your mosaic. And then I will give a vocal instruction, but I will not be visible. And enter 2, and enter 3, entering 4, enter 5, enter 6, enter 7, enter 8, and enter 9. Oh, really nice, really nice. Okay, thank you. So can you guys just give me sort of a thumbs up if you heard my instruction about starting with action and ending with standing still? Yeah, so 6 different events. First, you hear the theme and you'll go right into action. 5 variations you'll hear those afterwards, and try to keep track. And then for the fifth variation, if you can find your way to please stand still with as much of your body in the frame as possible. Thank you. And I'll give you guys a ready go to begin, okay, once you're set up. Hey, Michael, can you actually step forward a little bit? Yeah, thank you. And I understand the way virtual backgrounds work, which is exciting to me, is that people vanish and appear. But I think to start, I would like for you to be like very visible. And actually, Lindsay, can you also come just a little bit forward? Yeah, okay, great, thank you. And give me a thumbs up if you're set. Okay, let's take a breath together and begin. Great, thank you. Cool. So listen, for our last sort of experiment here, by the way, I'm learning a lot from this. This is actually a valuable time. I would like to see a duet, which is really a trio, because Colin, I would like for you to be involved in this as well. Michael, could you remain in the room for a moment, please? Can everybody else please exit except for Colin? Sorry, Colin and Michael, great. And then Amber, can you come on in? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so listen, so Amber, you're gonna remain in your house. Don't get a set together, that's fine. And what I'm gonna ask is we are now gonna hear the entire Caprice, the entire 24th Caprice. And I'm going to ask that you please now take on all of those different, those different ideas. So you're going to start with a theme. I'd like for you to start standing and just listening, okay, for the theme. Then you have 11 variations. You have, 6 tasks, right? 6 tasks during that time. I'm going to ask you to repeat one of those tasks. So think to yourself for a moment right now which one you might want to repeat. So you have 7 tasks total. And then I'm going to ask that for the 12th event, meaning the 11th variation, that you once again stand still. Okay, so it's bookended by standing still and facing forward. You know what? Facing forward or backward, either at the beginning or at the end. All right, your choice. Hey, Michael, do you know what? Do you mind turning off your virtual background as well? But Colin, if you could leave yours on, that's great. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to disappear from the room and then I'll give you guys a go ahead. Okay. Colin, can you please turn off your camera and then turn it back on? Wonderful. That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, let's take another breath together. Hold on just a second. Sorry, Michael, sorry, go ahead and get set up, sorry. And let's all take a breath together. And begin when ready. Uh, wow, wow, you all. Thank you so much. That was really beautiful. Thank you. Listen, um, Isaac, hello. You know what?
Hello, hello.
So listen, could I actually have all of the artists back in the room for a moment, please? Yeah, oh great, thank you. I just wanted to say, you all, it's like hard, right, to do like a public rehearsal, and also here we are in our own spaces and in Zoom, and there's all this stuff happening. But I really appreciate your doing that, and it was valuable for me to see it. There were actually some echoes of things that are happening right now that were not entirely intentional, and that was interesting to see as well. So I just want to tell you I really appreciate your beautiful work on that. That was a wonderful task. Colin, rocking it out, man. And listen, I know that we're like pretty much like over time. So I'm going to actually ask the dancers if you could please exit the space for a moment. I know you'll come back like right at the very end, but if you could exit the space, please. And maybe we'll start getting set up for our oh, and Colin, thank you so much. Isaac, shall we start to head toward our
I think
final?
we should, yes. I wonder if you have anything to say to set it up. Just maybe give us a brief idea about what the music is. Again, it's Paganini.
Great. So it's Paganini #2. And I'm actually going to invite Maile Okamura to please enter the room if she's still there, if she's still in that kitchen. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I just wanted to bring Maile in because you ran over as fast as you could. Uh, you know, Maile and I have been working on this together, and we have a sort of a history of making little videos just for fun, right? But I would say we always take it seriously, like the act of doing it is serious, but it's really just for our own pleasure. And this is why Maile was the person who, when I realized I would be making dance videos, I thought, well, obviously, if Miley's up for it, let's do this. So, and because she really, in some ways, is a co-choreographer for the next Caprice, for Caprice #2, you know, I set movement. We all made videos. There was discussion about what videos needed to be sent into Miley, but she really made this movie sort of. She made the structure of it. So I wanted to bring her in, and Isaac, I don't know if you have any questions for her. Um,
Well, you know, Maile, can you give us a brief overview of how you went about working on it? Did you task the dancers with specific things visually, or did they just submit stuff? And if so, how did you work around that? Can you tell us?
Well, John and his dancers started rehearsing on phrase work while this was all going on in their apartments. And then John and I were talking about how what inspires us, and we were talking about this artist, a YouTube artist known as How to Basic. Check him out.
Okay.
Anything. How to cook eggs. How to fix your computer. How to train your dog. Basic. And we were also inspired by a phrase that I learned called the hell zone,
Mhm.
where we're all in our houses, we're okay for a couple days, and then like the third or fourth day, you enter the hell zone, where it's like, what the f,
Mhm.
and nothing makes sense, and you want to kill yourself, and then the next day you're just back to normal. So there's a little bit of the hell zone in this film.
Well, I can't wait to see it. Should we look? Should we take a look?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thanks, Miley.
And it's just called Paganini #2.
Yeah, Caprice #2. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's look.
Hale, thank you so much. Thank you for coming to the Works in Process. I love you all so much. Thank you.